Pakistan's textile industry. It used to be this absolute powerhouse, right? The engine of their whole economy. But lately, well, that engine has been sputtering. So today we're going to look at this really ambitious project that's trying to reignite that fire. The Karachi Garment City.
And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? I mean, we're talking about a single industrial park. Can it really be enough to revive an entire nation's exports? A nation of 240 million people? It's a huge ask. Let's dig in and find out.
Okay, so before we get into the solution, we've got to understand the problem. What's actually holding the industry back? Well, to put it simply, for years, Pakistan's apparel exports have just flatlined. They're basically stuck, and it's because of this fundamental mismatch with what the rest of the world actually wants to buy. And this chart, it just lays it all out crystal clear. Look at this. Over half of what Pakistan exports in the garment world is just a handful of products. But here's the kicker. Those same products, they only make up a tiny 20% of what people are buying globally. So they're pouring all their energy into a shrinking slice of the pie. That's a tough spot to be in.
Right, and this didn't just happen by accident. It's a whole mess of compounding problems. For one, the industry's kind of stuck making simple, low-value stuff. Then you've got these crazy high costs for energy and materials, which makes it super hard to compete on price. And if that wasn't enough, get this. They are dangerously reliant on just two markets, the US and the EU, for a whopping 88% of their sales. Talk about putting all your eggs in one basket. So you're looking at all these problems, and you're thinking, okay, how on earth do you fix this? Well, back in the early 2000s, the government had this pretty bold idea. They said, let's build a whole new kind of industrial park from scratch, and let's design it specifically to knock down these hurdles one by one.
And they called it a garment city. The whole concept was actually pretty simple, but really powerful. Imagine a dedicated zone where the government basically provides everything an exporter could possibly need to get started and succeed. We're talking modern buildings, help with international compliance, you name it.
But the really cool part, the real game changer here, was this plug-and-play model. Think about it, especially if you're a smaller business. Instead of spending a fortune and tons of time building a factory and getting it all certified, you could just rent a space that's already built, already compliant. You just plug in your machines and boom, you're ready to start exporting. It's brilliant.
And the secret sauce that made it all work, shared resources. I mean, things like massive water treatment plants or big logistics operations. A single small company just can't afford that stuff. But by centralizing it all, the Garment City basically gave these smaller players access to world-class infrastructure. This meant they could finally meet those super strict standards that big Western brands demand.
Okay, so the idea was solid, right? But here comes the twist. Because time, as they say, waits for no one. The world of global trade looks completely different now than it did when this whole Garment City thing was first dreamed up. So now the project itself is in this frantic race against time.
So think about it. This project was founded way back in 2004. Fast forward 2 whole decades to today, what was once state-of-the-art is now, well, it's showing its age. But even more important is that the goalposts have completely moved. The world isn't just buying simple cotton stuff anymore. The market today wants something totally different. And this slide just nails the new reality. On one hand, you've got Pakistan still fighting these high costs at home, but on the other hand, the global market has just raised the bar. Buyers aren't just hunting for the lowest price anymore. Nope, now they're demanding synthetic fabrics. And, this is the big one, they want proof that what they're buying is made in a sustainable, climate-friendly way. So, seeing this huge, urgent need, the Sindh government has stepped in with a major modernization plan. And let me tell you, this is not just a fresh coat of paint. We're talking a complete overhaul. The whole goal is to drag the Karachi Garment City into the 21st century and turn it into a real leader in the region. First up, infrastructure. This is the nuts and bolts. We're talking upgrading everything. Roads, utilities, the works. Why? Because you've got to slash the time and money it takes to get a shirt from the factory floor onto a container ship. In the fast fashion world, speed is everything. Next, and this is absolutely non-negotiable today, is sustainability. Look, building climate-friendly factories isn't just some nice-to-have environmental thing. It's a business decision. It's a direct answer to the big international brands who are flat out saying, if you don't meet our green standards, we're not buying from you. Simple as that. And number 3, a big focus on water. This is pretty smart. By building new recycling and treatment plants in a region where water is scarce, they're killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
First, they check off those environmental boxes. And second, they create a reliable, cost-effective water supply for the factories. It's a win-win.
And listen to what the project's director, Rauf Mushtaq, has to say about it. He makes it clear that this isn't just about one industrial park. No, this whole modernization effort is part of a much bigger, holistic government strategy. The endgame is to completely transform Pakistan's ability to compete globally and seriously boost its exports.
So that brings us right back to where we started, to that big question. A ton of money and a ton of effort are being poured into this thing. If it actually works, what's the payoff? I mean, why does this one industrial park matter so much?
Well, the goals are pretty clear, and there are three big ones. First, make more high-value stuff to export, which brings in more foreign currency, something that's absolutely critical for economic stability. Second, create a whole lot of jobs. And third, act as a hub to level up the skills of workers across the entire textile industry.
And don't forget the scale we're talking about here. It's massive. We're talking about a 300-acre site. That's huge, dedicated to doing just one thing, making the fancy, high-value clothes that the global market is actually crying out for. It's like a concentrated bet that's designed to pull the whole industry up with it.
But beyond all the economic numbers, there's a really important human side to this. This isn't just about spreadsheets and export figures. This project is a massive source of jobs in a region that desperately needs them. And specifically, it's creating opportunities for women, who are really the backbone of the skilled workforce in garment stitching.
So here we are. The Karachi Garment City is being rebuilt for the 21st century. It seems to have everything going for it. The scale, the strategy, the government backing. But in a world with such fierce global competition, the one question that hangs over everything is this: will it be enough? Will this modernization truly be enough for Pakistan to reclaim its spot in the global textile race? I guess only time will tell. Thanks for joining us.